Welcome to this Grandma's Life podcast. I'm your host, theciaellis. Get ready to laugh, learn, and grow with me as we explore growing old in an ever-changing world. One of the good things about growing old is that people judge you less when you sometimes say outrageous things. I'm getting older and I've had a fascinating life. I also have opinions. You may not agree with these opinions and I may not care. Even now, I am passionate about many things. I love to learn, I love quotes, and I care about my country. Join me as we explore loving life, even as we age. Today is May 15, 2026, and this is episode 96, Finding Focus. In this episode, I'm going to discuss various ways we lose focus on what we are truly supposed to do with our life here on earth. But first, what's been going on? Well, for one thing, you can tell by looking at all of you who are doing the video part, it is humid and windy today, and I lost the battle of getting my hair to lay down. So I guess those of you who are just audio only you're getting it good because I'm looking kind of crazy today. Okay. I was having a little bit of issues with some health insurance. I had gotten a notice saying that I needed to submit proof of income. So I sent W-2 forms for all of 2025. And I didn't think anything about it and let it go. And all of a sudden I'm getting a notice that I was canceled. And I called and I said, why am I canceled? They said, well, you didn't submit the documents. I said, well, yeah, I did. I sent W-2s and stuff. And they go, oh, yeah, those are the wrong kind of documents. We need you to send check stubs. I'm going, okay. So I sent a check stub and I was still canceled. And I'm going, why did you cancel me when I had sent you the check stubs and W-2s? And they said, well, you were supposed to send 2 check stubs. So I sent them 3 check stubs. I hope that was enough. Actually, it was. And I finally got reinstated, but it doesn't go into effect for a couple more weeks. Well, and my job has, I like my job, I really do, but it has changed dramatically just in the last few weeks. It's one of those things. I was just a clerk that paid the bills and did whatever needed to be done to keep the lights on and stuff. And then our mayor moved away, and he was very, very hands-on. And all of a sudden he's going, well, I'm out of here. And I'm going, wait, I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how to do that. And my learning curve has been very, very steep. But one of the things I did is I went to a code enforcement class, and that was an all-day thing down in Midwest City. And I'm discovering there's a few more classes that I'm going to have to take, and I'm okay with that, I guess. It's just kind of like, oh my goodness. And I'm trying to learn how to do budget. I'm trying to do all kinds of other stuff because our fiscal year is just about to wrap up. We need to get that taken care of too. So I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, but I'll get there. You know, the people who are left to help me with the town have been very kind. They're very patient, and we'll get it worked out, I guess. I did take a hike last Saturday. It was a beautiful day. It was nice and warm, but what I did is I went to Claremore Mountain Bike Trail to hike, which is just a few miles from here. I never even knew it was there. And of course, one thing is I never went before after I learned about it, because it says mountain bike trail, and I don't want to be in anybody's way while they're trying to, ride bicycles around and stuff. But once I arrived, it was actually, you can hike and mountain bike, and I can't remember, there's something else that you can do there too. But it was nice. It was kind of interesting though, because I was there on a Saturday about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I had only seen one other couple there, and they were on mountain bikes, and they were chatty enough I could hear them coming and stuff. But I didn't, as far as any of the trails I was on, there was nobody else there. So it was very nice. But I think I had stated this on the end of the video that I will be posting on it, is I did not wear insect repellent, and I got bit by mosquitoes, which is fine. I was okay with that, but I did find some ticks on me too. So that's not okay. So I need to be better prepared next time. I've got this stuff in the car. I just didn't put it on, didn't care, and kept on going. My granddaughter and her fiance have been in New Mexico for the last 2 months. They've been they have an interesting job. They're supposed to be going to different restaurants and working in the restaurant to help when a particular restaurant is short on staff, and the owner provides them with places to live. And their Airbnbs, apparently the kids have to come up with their own beds and stuff, because they bought a bed while they were in New Mexico, but that last I heard they were doing an air mattress and they just moved to North Dakota. They've only been there a day, so they may have already bought another bed. I don't know. And they're going to try to work it out. If they're going to be doing too many more moves like this, for one thing, they don't have any way of hauling their trailer because neither one of their vehicles has a has a trailer hitch, and you can't just throw a mattress on your roof and go. No matter what the videos show, you just can't do that. But yeah, they actually have a place to sleep and stay. They sometimes share it with other people. I think the last place they were in, they were in one room, and then two other people had two other rooms. And I don't know what their situation is up in North Dakota, except that it's very windy and they're under extreme fire weather danger and flying dust and all that other stuff. So I don't know. They're happy. They're young. They're happy. I think I'm glad that they're doing this. This is basically what they got, like one day notice that they're going to North Dakota, and it was not feasible for them to really come home because it would have put way too. They drove for over 24 hours. It was a 20-hour drive from where they were to where they went. But how it is when you stop, get something to eat and fuel up and stuff like that. They were on the road for well over 24 hours when they showed up to North Dakota. And they're tough. You know how it is when you're young. You're tough. They're doing good. This Thursday evening, I say this is Friday here. So last night we had a town meeting, and we now have a new interim mayor, and at least we have somebody. At least we have somebody, but he has a full-time job, so it's still going to be pretty much me for a while. They're thinking about hiring somebody else that's part-time to help me. But I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. I need the help. I need somebody who knows what they're doing. And apparently this girl already knows how to do a bunch of it. But I have to admit, I really like working alone too. So, it being in the office alone. So I don't know. We'll find out. It should be interesting. And we'll just have to stay tuned and find out how it goes. All right. What I'm listening to an interesting book. I'm just getting a little bit into it. It's called How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollan. And then I'm on Saint Odd by Dean Koontz. And so I listen to one fiction book and one nonfiction book, every other day, whichever day is the first maybe hour of the day or whatever. I'm listening to an audiobook. And then the rest of the day I listen to podcasts. What I'm actually reading, I'm still doing Keto After 50 by James Wilson. I've got the actual reading part done. I'm just going through the recipes now to see if there's anything that I think I want to look at and use or keep, whatever, so I'm doing that. And I'm also reading Winter Garden. The Winter Garden is my fiction book in actual books by Kristen Hanna. And it's been an interesting book. It's not, and it's also not one of the genres I usually read, but obviously if you ever listen to any of my stuff that I do for Books Highlighted podcast, I don't really, I love Dean Koontz and I do a lot of him, but as far as genres, I don't know. I do a lot of different things and I enjoy it. All right. My quote of the week is, it takes courage to grow up and become who you really are. And this is by E.E. Cummins. And it's been interesting I like to look up the authors, whoever did these quotes and learn a little bit about them. And this one was Edward Estlin Cummings, born October 14, 1894 in Cambridge, Massachusetts. He was American poet, a painter, an essayist, author, and playwright. He was an ambulance driver in World War I. Apparently he was doing a lot of anti-war talk, and so he got arrested by the French for suspicion of espionage and actually was imprisoned in an intern camp, and his parents had to negotiate terms to get him released. He did modernist free-form poetry, and I'll be perfectly honest, I was not impressed. I read one of his poems and I'm going, that makes no sense, and I can't see anything or any reason to read any more of his stuff. But he wrote this quote, and so that's why I did that. His childhood friends were William James, the psychologist, and Josiah Royce, a philosopher. So he actually had some interesting people who grew up to be some interesting, uh, do some interesting things in their lives also. So Cummins' first wife was Elaine Orr, but they got divorced after about 9 months. There's more to that story, but basically they didn't stay very divorced very long. And then his second wife was Anne Minnerly Barton, and they divorced after 3 years. He ended up growing old and died with Marion Morehouse, but nobody's quite sure if they actually ever got married. But he did have a long-term relationship with somebody until he did die on September 3rd, 1962 in Conway, New Hampshire. So I don't know. It's interesting. I like to learn about people and different things like that. So that was good. Now, I want to remind you, it takes courage to grow up and become who you really are. E. Cummings. And the reason I have chose that is because my main subject is finding focus. Growing up to focus on what it is that you were growing up to be who it is that you're supposed to be. And how do you grow up to become who you are? Do you know? Some people know at an early age what they want to be, and they absolutely know, and they do have the focus, and they maintain the focus regardless of what's going on in their lives to be what it is that they know that they want to be. And then there's so many others of us that just kind of meander through life and figure out that they'll take things as they come. And that can be at times pretty catastrophic, because if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get there. And I can attest to that. I've had a few wants and needs and stuff over the years, but did I have focus on it? No. And so I think I'm paying the price for that at my age, and I'm still trying to figure out how to focus. Because life gets so daily, you lose focus. Okay, you let's say that you want to be a famous writer. Okay, but you get married and you start having children, and the children are your focus for a while, and then keeping a roof over your head maintains for male or female, mom or dad, whatever it is. You do whatever it takes on a day-to-day basis to put food on the table, keep a roof over your head, and take care of your children, or take care of all of your responsibilities. So how do you focus on what is that you want to do or supposed to be doing in the process of doing all the other daily life things? And that's kind of an interesting thing too, because I believe that you can focus on stuff that you want to do or be, and still maintain relationships and doing the dailiness. But boy, that takes a lot of focus, and paying attention to what's going on around you at the same time too, which is not focus, I guess. I don't know. So, and then your life gets turned upside down. You think you are working towards something. You've got a specific goal, and then the rug is pulled out from underneath your feet. And then what do you do now? Now, I have to admit, that's what I've been dealing with. My goals are still specifically pretty much the same, but I'm having to reroute how I get there, because the rug got pulled out from underneath me. And it's been real easy to go, maybe this is what I'm not supposed to do. Maybe this is what I'm not supposed to be. Maybe I need to sit back and figure out something else. And for some people, it may be that whatever it is that you were focusing on at one point in your life, whenever something dramatic happens to you that you must change, maybe your focus does have to change at the same time too. It's just, how do you figure that out? Well, we'll talk about that in a moment too. So then you're thinking, well, I think I'm going towards something. I'm working towards something. I think that I'm getting things accomplished. But then you realize, well, maybe you never really had the focus in the first place. Maybe you have been just the easygoing, whatever goes on in life, you'll get there when you get there. And if you don't, you don't, and others who have the goal, but then lose their focus and float through life, or, drift, and they never get to where they're supposed to be in life either. Think about how many people that we know who are so specifically talented in one area of their life or another, and because they did not focus before, because they did not dedicate the time and effort to whatever talent is that they have. They just meander through life and really never made anything of themselves or anything like that. And so that's kind of an interesting thing too. And then and the Bible says you're supposed to focus on Jesus. You're supposed to focus on God. And this is the part I'm trying to learn lately. Because to me, if I am focusing on Jesus, how can I be focusing on the goals that I want? How can I be focusing on the house, the career, anything else? How am I supposed to be focusing on that if I'm focusing on Jesus? Well, if you're focusing on Jesus and asking for guidance daily and taking care of things like that, he will guide you to help you know which direction you're going to go and help you with the focus and help you even to get there. But you have to spend the time in prayer and studying in his word and doing all that. And when you do that, does not take you away from your task of being who you're supposed to be. He knows what you're supposed to be. You're the one that's clueless at that most of the time. And so if you are focused on Jesus, if you were focused on what it is that God wants you to be, then he will help you get there. And that's the hard lesson I'm trying to learn. Partly because I still struggle with giving up my will. And, well, if I just turn everything over to God, what is going to be, how am I supposed to get where I'm going to want to go? And I know that's wrong in my heart. And I understand that I'm missing out on some pretty significant things. But, you got to have the courage. You got to have the faith to trust God and understand that whatever his will is going to be good for you. And I will be the first to admit that I still struggle with that. I have trouble giving up I want to say power, but I don't think that's exactly the right word. I feel like it's like my power to decide, my choice. But if you think about it, if you are trusting God, that's a choice too. So I don't know. I think about it. Have you lost focus on who you were meant to be when you to grow up? And I still think that as long as we're breathing, as long as we're alive, as long as we can do and be, we can still work toward and have focus towards specific things that God wants us to be. I mean, if God had wanted us to be Olympic runners and we didn't do it and we're in our 50s or 60s or 70s now, okay, so maybe not. But you understand what I'm saying? I think God has more for us in life than that anyway. So I would encourage you to spend some time in prayer. If you're not exactly where you want to be, if you're struggling to know where you're supposed to be, then spend some time in prayer and then have the courage to turn your will over to God. And I promise he'll, even if I'm not real good about doing it myself, I know I've seen it too many times. I've seen it in my life. I'm one of those that I try to give up my power, and then I get it. I do that, and then I go immediately want to take it back. So I don't know. So have you lost focus on who you were meant to grow up to be? Give me an email at theciaellis@gmail.com. I am going to tell you about the Self-Reliance Festival. It is in Camden, Tennessee, on October 3rd and 4th. They are for pre-sales. They're completely sold out, but you can get your name on a list and stuff. I highly recommend that. I've been in a couple of times, and the people there are just fantastic. Not just the speakers, not just the events that are there and stuff. The people who attend are all walks of life, all kinds of personalities, all kinds of everything, and every one of them are there to either learn or teach or both. I mean, if there might be somebody at one booth and they're very helpful in helping you learn what it is that they're either teaching or they're selling or whatever to help you in your self-reliance. Or there are those who, and even then when they go to other booths to learn from other vendors and other speakers and stuff too. I know that the times that I went, I was selling some products. I was selling products for another woman. I was selling my own candles. But there were times when I was sneaking out to go listen to a specific speaker that I wanted to speak to. It's very encouraging. It's very empowering. It can help you to focus too. It can help you put a game plan together to focus on what it is that you're supposed to be doing. I just like it. I would appreciate if you would go to the link below and check it out and see if you can get on the waiting list for this October. It's well worth it. I promise. Okay, I can be found in a whole bunch of different places, but what I'm going to tell you about right now is Patreon. I am on patreon.com/ either This Grandma's Life or Grandma's Homestead. I think Grandma's Homestead is probably the one that will get you there. They're both under the same page. And what I'm doing is for free, I put out a faith fuel every time. It's where I do the scripture of the day, the quote of the day, and a devotional. I put that on there. And I'm also, those are free, and they're all over the place, on all of the socials. But what I'm charging is going to be it's a $5 a month right now. And it is for, I am over time uploading every video that I have produced and on there, and you can watch them ad free. And that's what I'm doing. And as I go along, I'll find more things to do to put on Patreon. But for $5, you can watch everything I put on there so far. And it's been kind of fun because actually what I put all my new current things that I've done just recently on there, but I'm also starting from the very beginning of Grandma's Homestead. And that was when the channel was called Ellis Family Farms. And I'm watching Kinzie grow up. I'm watching our stage of being beekeepers. I'm watching us build the bathroom in the barn and stuff. It's just been kind of interesting to watch different stages of my life over the years, and I'm enjoying that too. So I would encourage you to go to Patreon and look up Grandma's Homestead and check out all those videos that you can watch with no ads in them. I say free. I meant no ads. Okay, I say that wrong a lot, but I hope you understand. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you. I still want to encourage you to live until you die. Don't just be here. Don't just be complacent. Focus on what it is that you're supposed to be doing and live. Be happy. Strive towards something. Just be a part of it. We're not going to be here forever. And this is all we got until it's time for us to go meet the Lord. So that's it. God bless. I'll see you next time.